G'day guys and welcome back to the Iron Empire. This week I thought I would do a fleet update, which is what I've been asked to do by a lot of subscribers. I've been flat out, so apologies I haven't had a video last week. This is a part-time gig obviously, and I've been flat out trying to do my shed, and I've had a big build last week, doing a paint job on a Harley and getting that all ready for the weekend, so I've just been running behind. But I've had quite a few people ask me a lot of things about different cars and what they want to see. First off the rank is the VL. Everyone wants to know about this VL. It is sitting there doing absolutely zero. I've done nothing to the VL since what you guys have seen in the video last. The reason being is because I've got like 20 cars and it's hard to keep the ball rolling with all of them. I want to keep each project going rather than just concentrating on one, which can be a bit of a burden sometimes. But the story with this one is I'm still waiting on finding a fuel rail, because I would rather just throw a fuel rail in complete rather than finding individual injectors and getting them cleaned and dicking around like that. So I'm in no rush for this thing to get done. I would like to have got a bit further along, but it is what it is. So if any of my subs in SA or even interstate know of just a standard fuel rail that I could be hooked up with, I'd rather just purchase something like that, drop it straight in, ready to roll, and then I have no doubt that will start getting some progress happening. I'm going to show you around my yard here, and then we're going to head up to my block and we'll have a look at some of the cars up there. But there's not really a lot more, to be honest with you. You've all seen most of this stuff, and not much has changed. I've got the fairlane here, that is pretty much as is. That's nothing's changed there. I still have some, well actually lots of stuff I want to do to this car, but that's all going to happen when it's time to do it. There's no rush on that. Yeah, as for the VL, it's just being used as storage. We'll head down the back here. I'll show you around. I'll show you around in my little carport here. So this carport I built a few years ago to house a few more cars, and it's handy because it's big enough to work on one car or a bike comfortably, but when I'm not working on stuff I can jam two in real tight. So got a little Datto here, which you all would have seen before. This thing is bulletproof, goes all the time, every time. I love this little thing. Upgrades for the Datsun are to get, I'm thinking about clearing the body, because this car was originally like a tanny colour or khaki colour car. It's been painted probably a billion years ago in white, and it actually did all look like this when I bought it, and now it's gradually getting less and less, and I don't mind it looking rough, but I don't want to end up driving around in a bloody undercoat car. So that's going to probably get cleared. I need to sort out a little bit of wiring issues on that. The clutch has been knackered since the day I bought it 6-7 years ago, so I'll probably do a clutch one day, but at the moment it still goes, so don't fix what's not broken sort of thing. This is my little pile of junk. This was a neat workshop, and yes, for those asking, that's a coffin. I got given the coffin as a tip. I was doing a set of white walls, and the bloke built coffins, finding rust in his car, and the bloke built coffins, and he had it for some reason, and I was looking at it, I thought that would be really cool in the shed eventually once I got that all set up, and I had the ute, and he said, load it, take it. It's been sitting here, it's in my way, so that's how I ended up with the coffin. So I don't know, it'd be pretty cool to put like a Dracula or something in there, put it in the man cave. My pile of junk in here, I've got the original flathead motor out of my Dodge, the Doomsled, which you would have seen in other videos. I've got a cool set of widened steelies. They are 15 by 8 or 9. They've been flipped and widened there for like a EF, EL sort of era car. I've got all sorts of other widened 12 slots in there. Old Harley parts, old Mopar parts, and just random car junk. Venetian for my XE, Harley seats up there, factory Dodge window, so that's like the standard size window that come out of the Kingsway before I cut it down. I had to buy a brand new window for that was laminated and cut that down to fit it, because factory glass is all toughened. You can't cut toughened glass. I've got XY spoilers here, factory Falcon steering wheels, dashes, grills, old number plates. This is just like the junk room where everything goes, unfortunately. But once my shed's sorted, I've got some storage, I'm going to be cleaning this all up. Got to build a mezzanine, all sorts of stuff. Now, hidden in amongst all this stuff, some of you may have noticed this peculiar looking thing poking out. There's also another part hidden under there. That is a steel Brookville body Model A Roadster. So I bought this stuff from, I reckon it even come from Tasmania or something weird. I've got a feeling, but I didn't pay much for it. I think I paid about $3,000 or $3,500 delivered for a full brand new Model A Roadster body. And it comes with a few factory parts like the, it's been so long since I've even looked at hot rod parts, I forget what it's even called, but basically the fuel tank area, the firewall section of the hot rods factory, but most of the rest is all new stuff, but it's metal, so I wasn't going to play around with fiberglass stuff. I've got some Model A chassis rails from Rodtech, and I bought a 52 Ford spinner, twin spinner ute with a flathead V8 in it. So the intention is building a 60s era traditional style hot rod, and maybe once I've got the room in my shed, I can set up a little area where I can tinker with that, because I would love to have a Roadster. That pretty much does it for in here, the junk room. I'm going to show you a real quick sneak peek. Up the back is also more junk, but it is also housing my 66 Dodge Phoenix. So this has been hidden up here for probably 3 years now. The story on this car is that my dad actually sold his XF Fairmont at the time, back in the 90s, which was a taxi and a super clean car. I loved it. I was only a kid, and he used to drop me off at school in that thing, and I used to love the car, and everyone used to look at it, and I used to think it was one of the coolest cars out. XF. He sold it to buy this Dodge that I'd never seen before, and I was a bit worried because I love the car, the Falcon, the Fairmont. He rocks up in this Dodge Phoenix, so a bit of a step up from the XF Fairmont. It's actually a factory white car with a 318 poly, Australian built Phoenix, which is basically a Plymouth Fury in America, and he's passed it on to me because he's lost his interest in cars. So back in about 2000, I reckon, we put a 383 in it, had it rebuilt, and it was a backyard rebuild, and it was no good in the end. I ended up taking it out to my mate Dave Lee's to put a cam in it, and that snowballed massively. The motor was junk, needed too much work, so I ended up with a 440, and we're going to be doing some filming on that 440 hopefully in the next couple of weeks, because that's going to be a bit of a hottie. So I'm really excited to get the 440 back into that and get it back on the street. Alright, moving on. The fairlane. You've all seen this in my last Iron Empire video. The fairlane, I haven't done anything to it. I've been putting petrol in it, and I've been turning the key and driving it, and I've been enjoying it, and it's been good. So like everything, there's a few things I want to do to it. Putting a badge on it, quite a few rattles inside, but aside from that, I'm happy with that car as a cruiser. Out the front, nothing too exciting. All right, out the front, we've got the daily dedicated gas BF Falcon. The canopy's off this thing for the first time since I've owned it in order to deliver a motorbike, which you'll probably see on the next video. That's just a daily driver and my little Kia truck. The Kia is actually one of the best cars I own. It's a turbo diesel, little 5-speed runabout truck that would be probably everywhere over in Asia, but here it just is a really handy thing to own because the size of the tray, massive. I've even had my Datsun come home on that truck. A truck just like that. I've had cars on them. I've had so much things that I can fit on that thing is unbelievable. And building my shed and my home up in the hills, that has become really, really handy. So if you're a trader, you're looking for a work rig that's a bit bigger than your standard utes, highly recommend the Kia trucks. That's it for home. Oh, actually, I've got a little, this is one of my builds from years ago. This is a little 2007, I reckon, Yamaha Virago. I sold it on behalf of my mate, Ben Dunn, Gons. He was trying to sell it, couldn't sell it. I said, dude, you need to spice this thing up because no one's going to buy it. So I took it, I got auto transformers at the time to do some paint work on it and just made it look cool. It looked a bit different than it does now, and then flipped it and got good money because there's a lot of money in learner approved bikes. And somehow along the way I ended up with it back. So I'm probably going to tidy up a bit of the paint on this again. Got to replace a few little bits and then I'll be banging that up on the market. My WR 400, I've had that since forever, probably 13, 14 years. First the 4-stroke motocrosses, and it is a beast. It's only 5-speed, 400, but it'll wheel stand in every gear and torque for days. So that's a cool thing. I don't really ride much anymore, but they're worth nothing, so may as well keep it. In the shed here, you probably nothing exciting in here. Random Falcon stuff around the place. Too much stuff for a little space. So yeah, nothing exciting happening in here. This afternoon I'm going to shoot up to my block to do a few things up there, and there's not much to see there, but we'll go have a look anyway, so stay tuned. Okay, so I'm up my block now and not much has changed here, to be honest with you. That row of cars, which I'm not going to go over to because it's wet and slushy, that has not changed one bit since the international truck video. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. That's just my row of cars. Some are going to be restored, some are just parts cars. The XB now I've dragged over here. I started doing a bit of work on that, as you would have seen in my last video, and for the time being it's just been pushed up out of the way because one of the other things I've had done is about 30 tonne of road screedings, recycled bitumen, dumped on the driveway here. So we've just got to do a bit of levelling. That's just been spread out with the tractor. The neighbour Ian helped me with that, but I want to get the other neighbour Ian with his bobcat to level it nicely. It made a massive difference to drive in and out. I can actually get some grip now. I've been doing a little bit out here, got some plants ready to go in. Bloody miserable, I'm going to go inside. Inside the shed, still very unfinished, but I'm getting a lot further ahead. So as you'd see, got the couch now, so I can chill out here. Wanting a bit of downtime. Got the fire cranking. So I've got this little giveaway fireplace from my Uncle Mark. He gave it to me. That's been awesome. I cooked my lunch today. Amazing. Got some benches in, got a little makeshift kitchen. At the moment, it's really frustrating because obviously doing most of this myself with a little bit of help from some others, it's just super time consuming. So I'm sort of constantly making a mess and constantly tripping over myself and stuff like that. So I'm just trying really hard to sort of get a bit of, get organised, and then, hopefully get this thing finished. So I now have the roller doors to go here, but I've just got it plastic wrapped up at the moment, which is keeping the wind out. Now you're probably wondering what this thing is. This is a HJ 1-tonner. This you would have seen actually on a video back with the XR up in the Riverland. My Uncle Mark's car. We're building it for a friend, and it's a bit of a beast. We've done a lot on it. There's actually a video in my old phone that I have to dig out, and hopefully I can get that together for you all on a lot of the work that we've done on this car. We've done a bunch on this car in a few weeks. It's running a pretty tough crate motor, 350, crate trans. It's a 1-tonner, obviously. It's going to be used as a bit of a weekender slash sort of business car for carting around bits and pieces. So that's pretty much already sold. Just got a few little things to do to it, and then that's out of here. The rest of my cars have not changed at all. Valiant's still sitting there. Cortina's still sitting there. And the XE is still sitting there. Once again, I can't do much on them because I'm not set up, but I'm getting very close to being set up. I've been putting a lot of money now since the XY has gone into buying things I need, like benches, cupboards, and all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm starting to make some progress. These cupboards are amazing. XE bonnet up there. XC, XB. I want to line this whole shed, as you'll see behind me. I'm just doing sections behind the benches that I'm putting in to start with, so it's all insulated, lined with chipboard. And these cupboards are pretty awesome. They're from Paramount Browns. I've already built that today, so I've thrown in what I've got here. Can't wait to be organised. And I got a pretty good gift from my neighbour. He found this in the dump. Check this out. Traffic light, I'll hang that up somewhere. It was working, it actually flashes through all the colours, but it stopped working. So I'll fix that and get that hung up. I've got a clean room here for when I want to wash up and get changed and stuff like that. So I've just got some wiring and plumbing going into there, and I want to paint the floor of that today. And I've got some lighting happening as well. So I've got to run lighting all the way down here along the back wall over bench lighting and all sorts of stuff going on. So I think that's pretty much it for now. No other updates as far as cars are concerned. Not much more else to tell you all. Stay tuned. Next week I will have another video out, a bit more productive than this one. So if you haven't already, hit the like button, leave me some comments, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Cheers, guys.